Hello everyone. Happy Sock Week 2022. Oh, you can't see my shirt. I'm wearing my Sock Week shirt. Hi, Alize. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see so many people here. This is crazy. If you're wondering why you can't chat, if you can't chat, you need to be a subscriber in order to chat, but once you've subscribed for 5 minutes, then you're able to chat. So just check if you're logged in to YouTube and see if you can get that chat activated. That's just a safety thing to make sure that no one can come in and just start saying anything random and strange and weird. Hi everyone, welcome, happy Sunday, or it could be, well, let me think. It's noon. Yeah, it could be Monday where you are, potentially, if it's really, really late for you. I was doing some time conversions for the rest of our YouTube lives, the private ones this week, and I was like, oh wow, 12 p.m. is like 12 a.m. some places. It's like 5 a.m. some places. It's always wild to me that like around the world can be so many different time zones. Okay, well, wow, I see so many people making so many amazing comments. Please let us know where you're watching from today. From South Africa. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Excuse me. I haven't been up for very long today because I was up late last night doing a midnight cast-on party with our Love and Stitches members. And I am not a night person. I am definitely more of a morning person. And so I had to recover this morning and sleep until like 9:30. And then, you know, I'm on my second cup of coffee, so I'm still waking up. So how's everyone doing today with your socks? Have you gotten started? If you're like already upset with yourself because you thought you were going to be further, please know that it's only been 12 hours of sock week and we have many, many more. I'm just never good at my 12s times tables, but let's see. What we have 8 total days, only 12 hours has gone by. 8 times 24, that's 192 hours minus 12. You have 180 hours left. Please also sleep. But just to encourage you, because I know it can be frustrating when you feel like you didn't start out right, and then you feel like that means you can't continue or get things done. That's not true. You can totally do it. Hey from Australia. Hey Anne. Central Florida, Middle Tennessee. Watching from Kentucky. Haley's just getting started. Perfect. Sarah cast on an hour ago. Erica was wide awake at 6:30 this morning. Oh boy. Not me. That's when I normally wake up, but I wouldn't say I wake up wide awake. I like to get up in the morning early to get stuff done, but I wouldn't say it happens naturally. Even today, to wake up at 9:30, I had to set an alarm. I think I could sleep for like 10 hours every night, no problem. I wouldn't feel super great the next day, but I think I could do it. Let's see, Michelle got the cuff done during the cast-on party last night. Yay, I think I saw your Instagram story this morning. I've been trying to go through, I haven't reposted anyone yet, but I will try to repost a few people every single day on Instagram, but I do look at everybody's, like I love seeing everything that you're working on. Katie says I have 2 working projects and, oh wait, hold on, it's moving too fast. 2 working projects and 2 motivated to work on my sweater. This is the perfect sign to continue on my socks. You know what? You don't have to only work on socks this week. We have a few people who said their goal was to like do one sock while also like keeping up with another project that they're working on, and that works great. Or if you're using this week as like a palette cleanser between projects, that's kind of what I'm doing. I've realized I haven't quite finished one of my big projects that I want to finish yet, but I just finished a few things. I'm gonna make a bunch of socks this week, and then I'm gonna start a new big project after that. So I feel like this is like a good in between, using it to finish up second socks. Chris says I was up at 5:45. Oh my gosh. Because my daughter gets in from working overnights. Hi from South Africa. Okay, Jill's doing 2 at a time, toe up, started at 6:30, and the toes are almost done. That's great. Yeah, Sarah, you like sleep like I do. I'm big into sleep. I mean, I am very lucky. I don't think I have had much trouble falling asleep, except for like 1 year, weirdly in college, I could never fall asleep before like 2 a.m. Such a strange year. And then now it's like, read my book, fall asleep with the lights on, with the book. Kent comes and puts my book away for me and turns off the lights. That's my nightly routine. Is that I fall asleep. Hey Bethany, working on socks and Radvent, lots of knitting this week. Amazing. I love that. Let's see. Cool. Bethany, I just made you a moderator. I don't know if that actually means that you can actually do, but Bethany's going to be helping me out today, just in case I miss any like comments and questions, and she's also going to help me answer some questions. So I have literally no idea what that means, but we'll find out. Hey Shayla, I'm almost finished with my Birds of a Feather, but definitely need this palette cleanser sock project. Yeah, you have been having a rough time lately, not feeling super well, so use this week as recovery knitting. Mary said, I'm a perfect fit sock graduate and plan to knit the second sock this week. Awesome, I love that. It's good to go ahead and do it like right away too, while all of that math information is in your head. Peggy said, finishing last rows on my first knit baby blanket. Congratulations. Lynn says, I'm using this week to do a pair of test knit socks. Ooh, good idea. So lots of people are already giving me their goals and stuff. So yeah, what are you planning to do this week? I am planning to knit the second of 3 different socks. So I have all of the Sock Week sponsor yarns, and I've got them all right here in front of me. And I'm pretty proud of myself. I'm not gonna lie. I cannot believe that I got 3 socks done before Sock Week. A lot of you did this last year, and I never thought of this before. But making Sock Week is for one pair, or one sock rather. And so you can start the pair before Sock Week, finish the first of the pair, and use Sock Week to finish the second sock, which I think is so brilliant. I know that wasn't always doable with our sponsor yarns because they had a lot of stuff to send out. But I knit one just vanilla sock from Yarn Over New York, and I have, oh, you know what? I didn't put my project pages in this description box yet, but I will go back and add that. I have notes on each of them. This one's a perfect fit sock, which means I did a gauge swatch and used my own measurements in order to tell me how many to cast on, increase, blah, blah, blah. It's got a Fish Lips Kiss heel. And then I did the Olivia and Oliver yarn, and this one's also a perfect fit sock. But I can't remember which one. One of them I was like knitting on during a show or a movie or something, and so the leg is longer than I normally would because I was just kept knitting. I think it was this one because I think I meant to do 20 rounds of ribbing, and again I was in a show, and so I ended up with like 19 because I was just trying to guess. I was like, this feels like 20, I don't know. Doesn't really matter, I'll make the second sock the same. And then my last one I just finished yesterday. It's actually the first one I started last night at midnight, is the Little Wolf Knits. And this is a totally rad ribbed sock from Summer Lee Knits. So I did the totally rad ribbed pattern, and then for the foot I did my perfect fit numbers so that I could kind of adapt that for me. So that's my plan, is to do the second of each of those. I'll talk more about how I'm thinking through that in a second. Let's see what some of your goals are. Julie's goal is a full pair of shorties. Let's see. Perfect time to get those present socks knit. I'm hoping to get 3 people's Christmas socks done. Great idea. I wish my kids weren't asleep as much as I am. That is so funny. Okay. My goal, Jill says, my goal is to not accidentally pull my needle out of the stitches. I'm sorry, this is funny. My goal is to not accidentally pull my needle out of the stitches when moving to the second half of Magic Loop. I think I do this at least once every time. Been there. I've also had where like the loop gets like caught on something as you're pulling it out of a bag, or like you're sitting there knitting and you've like dropped it to the floor and you pull out half your stitches. You know what? It happens. You get them back on. Thank you, Bethany, for posting those links to my Ravelry pages, and I'll put the projects the 3 sock projects that I'm planning to do down below too. Okay, Kelsey just cast on a 40-yard dash sock. Oh my gosh, classic. That's one of my patterns from 2018, I think. Oh, I love that. Frida's deciding to make a Hermione's everyday sock. I love that. Elisa said, how do you get to be so fast at knitting? Well, for me, I don't think I'm actually very quick, like as far as like stitches per minute. I'm not super fast, but I do find all the opportunities to knit and try to stay like distraction free when I'm knitting, and that helps me get a lot more done. I mean, you've seen me knitting and walking down the street. I will be like, I didn't get that much done, but my 30 minutes of knitting every day is surprisingly effective when I knit in the morning. I did about, 8 rows or so on this morning. I had cast it on last night. It's just finding little pockets of time and choosing the knitting over scrolling on my phone. That makes a huge difference for me. Okay, let's see what else everyone is doing. Started a vanilla sock using yarn from Vacation in Maine. Oh, that's fun. I'm casting on Kay's Rainbow Connection socks with the Moon Glow yarn from last sock week. That will be so pretty. I still love that yarn. Beth is making a crunkled sock. Ooh, I don't know what that one is. That sounds fun. Michaela said, we've been on a trip by train today. I've just turned the heel. Wow, before we had to get off the train. My goal is to knit 2 pairs out of my Olivia and Oliver set. Yay, that sounds really fun. Marky says my goal is to complete a pair. Somebody asked a question. I couldn't get the needle stoppers from Lily Ray, but I got 2 other sets from her. Does that count? Yes. Okay, so good question. I have the finished sock form linked below in the description box. I'm gonna add it, if I haven't already, I'm gonna add it to my Instagram link in bio too, just so there's a lot of places to find it. But when you finish a single sock, make sure to go ahead and fill out a finished sock form. So every time you finish a single sock, fill out a new form. And in the form, it has bonuses. And so if you're using a Sock Week 2022 sponsor yarn, you'll get 2, or sponsor product, you'll get 2 bonus entries for each of those items. But if you're using, for example, this person said they had the Lily Ray Crochet Co. Needle stoppers, but they weren't the Sock Week product, you'll get 1 bonus point for that, and there's a separate section. Anything that's not this year's Sock Week 2022 products, it is only gonna be 1 bonus entry per maker. So if you're using 2 sets of Lily Ray Crochet, that's just 1 bonus entry because it's not a Sock Week 2022 item. Hopefully that makes sense. I try to make it really easy to fill out the form. You just have to check boxes aside from filling out your name and adding your photo or Ravelry link. So try to make it as easy as possible. Okay, Amber said my goal is to make a second sock for myself and make a pair for my husband. Ooh, so 3 socks. I'm working on shorties. Will those count? Yes, you can knit shorty socks. The real stipulation here is the time, so making sure you've cast on the sock today or later, and then finish it by next Sunday, July 17th at midnight Eastern time or your time. I'm not really a stickler for if it's midnight your time or midnight Eastern time. That doesn't really matter. But make sure you get it submitted before 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's when the form's going to close. And then the other real stipulation is that it does need to be fingering or sock weight yarn, so no sport weight yarn, no DK weight yarn, no worsted weight yarn, but it can be shorties as long as they're adult socks. And I've got all the rules in the form and also in the, actually no, I don't have all the rules in the form, do I? Maybe I need to go back and add those. I do have the timeline, but I just realized maybe I didn't put all of the rules. Maybe I'll go back and add those real quick. Do you get bonus entries for your Spreadshirt merchandise? Ooh, Julie, I didn't think about that. Yeah, you know what? Let me add that too. You'll always come up with such good questions. So I'll go make little tweaks to the form. I haven't seen anyone finish a sock. I'm assuming people will start finishing some socks today, if they got started at midnight and worked all night on things. So let me make sure to add the spread shirt as a bonus. So if these things apply to you and you finish a sock today, just hold off filling out the form. I'll get it fixed or get added to it real soon. And then I will add those other rules about fingering weight socks, and they need to be adult size. So no baby socks, no toddler socks, no child socks. I'll make sure all of that is on there. I just want it to be really, really easy for you to fill out. Antoinette says, I'm making a lot of shorty socks for Christmas. I love that. Patricia says, I have 3 socks in need of their mates. I just started making socks in May. That's awesome. So each is a little different as I find what I like best. That's great. I'm finding that I always have little tweaks to make on my socks to get them closer and closer to being like my favorite fit. And I've been on the same heel for a really long time. I love the Fish Lips Kiss heel a lot, but you know, every once in a while I'm like, maybe I should try a new one. Like, I've heard really good things about the Shadow Wrap heel, and we're doing an event with Denise Earth Tones Girl this week. So I'm gonna have to see, you know, I bet we're gonna walk away with some ideas. Those of you who are coming to those events, we're gonna come up with like all these new socks that we want to try. Hey from Uruguay. I'm thinking about casting on a brioche sock. Ooh, I love that. I've never done a brioche sock before. That sounds really cool. Pam asks, can the Fish Lips Kiss heel be made wider? So the Fish Lips Kiss heel is not my pattern. It's Patty Joy White. But yes, the Fish Lips Kiss heel can be made wider if you increase your stitch count before starting the Fish Lips Kiss heel. So you can do that. Lori said, finishing one sock for me will be an accomplishment. 100%. Making one sock in a week is a challenge. Like, that is hard, and I commend every single one of you for coming in here and getting ready to try that, because it's totally a challenge. And a lot of people here have been knitting socks since like previous sock weeks, and so like if this is your first sock week and you're seeing people that are like knitting multiple socks, don't be intimidated. One day a while ago they were in the same spot where they were like knitting one sock and then adding a new challenge the next year to knit 2 socks and 3 socks. And you know what? If you don't get all of your goal done, it's okay, because you still did a really, really amazing job just to get like a half a sock done. I mean, it's a lot of knitting. I haven't ever done the math on like how many stitches are in a sock, but I kind of feel like it's one of those things where like I don't want to know. Morning, Heather. How are you doing today? All right, I should have gotten this cast on before, but I was working on some emails that I needed to do instead. 5, 10, 15, 16. I'll cast on a few more. Okay, I think I saw a question about a rounded toe. Is there a pattern for a rounded toe? So you definitely can do a rounded toe. I don't know like a specific pattern that has it in it. Like, there definitely are. I just don't know one off the top of my head. I think Kay may do rounded toes in her sock patterns. So if you look at the Crazy Sock Lady patterns, I think she has a rounded toe. But essentially a rounded toe is where you start off decreasing 4 stitches every other round. And then as you get to the last few rounds of your toe, maybe the last 6 rounds or so, you stop doing that plain round in between and you just do the 4 decreases every single round, and that like rounds it out. Maybe it's not the last 6 rounds, maybe it's like the last 4. I don't do the rounded toe, and I haven't done one in a long time, so that's just a high overview of what I remember. So definitely take a look at Kay's patterns, because I think she does the rounded toe, or another source to confirm. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Please don't do the math. I don't want to know. I know. Somebody's going to do the math now. I mean, it would be pretty easy, I think, to do, as long as you know how many rows are in each thing, each section of your sock. You could pretty quickly multiply by your stitches and figure that out. It's a lot. The thousands. That's why if anyone ever asks you to make them a pair of socks, you can be like $500. Too much work. No, not doing it. I mean, I do like making socks for gifts, but they are a lot of time. Hey Ramona, joined the live late, but my goal is to make a pair of socks knit in tandem. Ooh, that's exactly what I'm planning to do too. I love that. Heather says Kay does do the rounded toe. Thank you, Heather. So yes, Kay, the crazy sock lady, her patterns will have that rounded toe in them. Kimber said, this is my first sock week. I'll be doing good to finish my shorty sock. Absolutely. That's gonna be great. Oh gosh, started moving really fast. The Twister Lolly socks from the Crimson Stitchery is a lace sock that includes a rounded toe. Perfect. Here's a bunch of people saying different people who have the rounded toe. Thank you so much. Lynn Ashton has a YouTube tutorial. Perfect. Let's see. I'm knitting a pair of shorties by knitting a sock tube with 2 toes. Oh, that's great. That sounds like you'll cut into that at the end, right? Very good. Quite new to knitting, knitted 2 pairs of baby socks. I lost it. 2 pairs of baby socks. Where was it? For my friend who's expecting her first baby in November. Oh, I love that. Lori said, double dipping with Kay's summer sock camp. Absolutely. This is like, I feel like sock week is like a good, I don't know what the right like metaphor is or analogy for it is, but it's like that little push you need during summer sock camp, because summer sock camp is a longer make along. You can do like a short sprint here in sock week and make some big progress or finish some things up, because I think you have to make pairs for summer sock camp. So if you've been like casting on all the socks and you need to finish some pairs, you can use sock week for that, for sure. Nicole asked, should I just cast on a new sock or the mate to the sock that I just finished? Ooh, that's a good question. I would probably say, which one are you most excited about right now? If you're like, either one, then I would just go ahead and finish up the mate on that sock. And after you finish up the mate, you get to cast on your new sock. But if you're like, really don't want to cast on the mate, really want to make the new socks, then go for it. You can always make the second one later. Totally fine. An umbrella toe. KF Jones, the Bakery Bears umbrella toes and heels are the best. I have never heard of that. That sounds really cool. Sounds like you do, instead of doing the 4 decreases, you do more decreases, so it looks like an umbrella. That sounds really interesting. Okay, let's see. Pearlbug had a YouTube channel called 10,000 Stitches. The name was based on the number of stitches on an average pair of socks. There you have it. At least 10,000. That's pretty impressive. I love that. Shadow Wrap heel is the heel I've been using for over 20 years. Oh, interesting. I just didn't know what the heel was called. I just thought it was a standard heel. Yeah, isn't that so true? Like when you learn how to do something, now we have a lot of resources to publicly share things and like see what other people call them. But when you learn something, because it's the first thing you learn, you're like, this is what everyone does. It's the standard. And then you find out it has a name or there's different ways to do it. So fun. Anne says, I'll be happy to finish 1 sock. I'm going to try to finish 1 and start the second. Also participating in sock camp and Yarnia's sock bingo. Yes, so fun. I love that. I'm working on the Fisherman's socks by Mia Demmer. They're so comfy looking, but there's about 15 centimeters of ribbing. That's a lot. I think that's like, what? 4-5 inches? Close? Where did my sock go? I have a sock with a bunch of ribbing on it too. This one, I've got like 4 inches of ribbing on it. So yeah, takes a little time. I did most of it during a movie though. So I'm like, okay, if I'm really feeling like not into some of my socks, I'm gonna pop on a movie or go to the movies. We have what's it called? AMC A-list. So we like pay once per month and get to go to a lot of movies, like 3 movies per week if we want. We never do that many, but I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like I need to really get some stuff done. I'll go to the movies. Of course, last time I goofed up my ribbing when I was there, but you know what? I fixed it. So it's okay. I totally feel that. Midnight Knitter. Planning for 1 sock, but if I finish 2, that would be wonderful. Is that you, Renee? Hi. I'm using Drops Fable self-striping yarn. Oh, I love self-striping yarn. I have knit up all my self-striping yarn in my stash. I have, just double checking, I have no self-striping yarn anymore, and I think that when I stash down a little bit more, that may be something that I grab a couple skeins of just to have so I can make socks, because I love self-striping yarn. Ashley said, finishing a pair of ruffled toddler socks for my very first niece. Oh, congratulations. Then I will cast on a pair of adult shorties for myself using Mace of Skeins Shark Week sock set. I saw those colors and those are really fun. Marissa's using the Yarn Over New York Tiger's Eye Shark, and I believe Jessie is still dyeing this up, so obviously you wouldn't get it in time to finish for Sock Week, but if you do like this yarn, I believe you can still grab some of it. Jessica said, I'm making a shorty sock and may have made the leg too short. Going to keep going. If it doesn't fit me, it will be perfect for my sister's Christmas gift. There you go. That's a good solution. Started a rib sock for my brother at the second try since the last pair didn't fit him. Well, hopefully you have that one to go on and make some changes from there. I know that's frustrating. You're seeing Thor this afternoon. That's what we saw when I was working on my sock. It's pretty funny. Emily said, going to do at least 2 socks. I was casting on all the socks for summer sock camp. And need to knit the mates. Yep, I have a feeling that we have more people in that situation. But ended up casting on a new pair last night at midnight. I have no self-control. That's really funny. I love that. Jennifer said, I'm definitely going to reduce the sock yarn stash over the summer. Way too many single skeins. Yeah, it does help to kind of go through those single skeins there. I'm using a mini skein kit from my stash for my sock. I'm going to try the magic knot for the first time. Oh, there you go. I like that. Hey from the Netherlands. Nice to see you. My plan is to get a pair of shorties since I have 3 test knits going on. Yes, you don't want to neglect those either. Lorraine says, I just accidentally got onto this video. Welcome. How do I get in on this? Is there a particular pattern to use? Great question. So you came in at the perfect time because today is the first day of 8 days of Sock Week. You don't have to do any particular pattern. You can knit any sock pattern you want as long as it is fingering or sock weight yarn and adult size. So they can be vanilla, they can be long legs, short legs, lacy pattern, a colorwork pattern, a ribbed pattern, whatever you want, doesn't matter. As long as you start the sock today and finish the sock by next Sunday at midnight, just 1 sock. And for each sock that you do complete, if you want to do more than 1, you'll submit a separate form, and I've got the form link down below, and you'll be entered to win a prize from some of our sponsors. So I haven't put the prizes up. I don't think I have yet. Maybe I did. I don't remember. But we have a couple prizes from each of our 6 sponsors. And so I will be choosing those on Monday of next week by random selection. And so make sure you get your form finished before Monday at 10 a.m. of next week. And I will be selecting those because right after that, we're going to be headed out of town, and there's going to be a Knitty Natty vacation for a little while. I'm not going to be posting things for a little bit right after Sock Week, but I will have some things going on. So I wanted to make sure we get all the prizes and everything and Sock Week closed out before we go. Heather said, I'm almost done with my cuff already. Yay! This is really motivating me to zoom through it. You're doing great, Heather. That's awesome. Mariette said, at least I am using a new colorway this year. The past 2 years I used the same colorway. Yeah, you gotta change it up. Make it fun, right? The Neon Knitter said, I am knitting an entire thigh-high sock this week. Whoa, that's a big challenge. I'm using watermelon self-striping yarn from Artistic Yarns by Abby. Love that brand. The pattern is the Gauge Swatch Socks by, Non-Thucydian Designs. That felt like a tongue twister. Lauren said, I'm using a locally dyed yarn from a dyer I met taking the bus to work. What? That's so cool. I tend to meet fellow knitters in the strangest of places. I am guessing you were knitting, or they were knitting, and you saw that they were knitting and found out they were a dyer. Ooh, by the way, do we have anyone crocheting a sock this week? We do have some people in the Sock Week Discord that I saw making crochet socks, so I'm curious if we have anyone here crocheting. You can knit or crochet Sock Week socks. And I know I say knitting a lot, but knit or crochet is absolutely fine. Maggie said, I'm doing vanilla short socks by the Crazy Sock Lady. Nice. You've just cast on your very first sock. Woohoo! That's so exciting. Congratulations. Amber said, I've been searching and I can't find a simple vanilla pattern for men. What's the average stitch cast on for a men's large? Amber, that is a really tricky question because everyone is so different. My advice to you would be to measure whoever it is, if you have them there, measure around the ball of their foot, subtract like 15%, and that will tell you like how many inches that you need to make your socks. And as far as the cast on goes, you would have to know your stitch gauge. But I would say, like, if you're just looking for a number, like maybe 72 to 80. I mean, it really depends on your stitch gauge. That's why it's so hard to say. Maybe if anyone has any advice for a men's sock pattern, that would be really great. I think that I made a pair of socks for a friend recently, and I was actually surprised. I only needed 64 stitches for 2 of my guy friends. So it just depends. Depends on a lot of things. Okay, let's see. I have a confession. I have never swatched. I've also never finished a garment because it's never never seeming correct. Well, I think you answered your question. Swatching can be very, very helpful. Very helpful. Elizabeth said, anyone knitting a shark theme pattern? I haven't decided on a pattern yet. Ooh. Is anyone making a shark themed pattern? I have seen some mermaid themed patterns come across the Sock Week Discord. I think one is called Mermaid Scales, which looked really fun. I love that. Okay, we've got some people answering the men's sock pattern. Amber Walker, Twin Stitches Designs. Oh, Amber is the person we're answering. Twin Stitches Designs has some good men's sock patterns. Perfect. I love that. Yes, you could have done Tunisian crochet. That would have been really cool to see Tunisian crochet socks. I love that. Somebody met a knitter at a concert a couple weeks ago. You were knitting on a sock. That's so cool. I love that. Bunch of people answering, if you do 72 stitches for a man's sock, you can make a ribbed sock design, 2x2 rib, 3x1. Yeah, that looks really, really nice. Alex said, I'm using yarn unraveled from a thrift shop. Nice. To reduce the fast fashion impact. That is really cool. I love that. Sarah said, wait, not Sarah. Yes, no, Sarah said, my husband is 64 stitches, but he likes them snug and prefers ribbed socks. Lee said, I only need 62 for my partner. So there you go. I mean 64. I'm like reading numbers and like mixing them up in my head. I'm sorry. The comments are there though, so they will tell you more accurately. What do you think? Am I like halfway to my cast on? So I saw somebody earlier say they're going to be working their socks in tandem. So if you don't know what that means exactly, like it's a little different than, well, quite a lot different than 2 at a time socks. 2 at a time socks are knit with the 2 socks on the same needle. But if you're working in tandem, you'll cast on each pair of socks separately on separate needles and then kind of go back and forth working on them. So you might do the cuff on the first sock, then the cuff on the second sock, then like 20 rows of the leg, 20 rows of the leg, finish the leg, heel, heel, and just back and forth. So they're being worked up side by side instead of completing one whole sock, finishing it off, and then casting on the second one. This is a really good way to stay motivated and not have that second sock syndrome that can plague us often. And I'm kind of doing that, or at least planning to do it for my 3 socks this week. So I have started the cuff of one of my socks last night, and I am attempting to cast on the cuff of another sock right now. And before the end of the day, I will cast on the cuff for my 3rd sock, which will look like this. And my goal today is to finish all 3 of the cuffs. So I've got quite a lot of knitting to do, but after this, I've got a little bit of work I need to get done, and then I will be free to knit. So I'm hoping to get a lot done. I usually do better getting more knitting done when I'm like out and about, like taking a walk or watching a movie or watching a show, because I have fewer distractions. So maybe I will be doing some of those things so that I can get some focus. It's a pretty nice day today. Let me see what the temperature is. It's only 78 degrees and it's going to be 81 today. So if I go find a park to sit in the shade, it'll actually be pretty nice outside. I have to say I really love New York City summers for that, because you can bear being outside. It's really nice. Okay, Made by Maddie said, my brothers are men's 10 to 12 and I do 64 stitches. And then my brothers that are size 13 to 15, I do 72. Thank you, Maddie. That's super helpful. Jen said, I'm using the Baby Shark and Bellini set from Olivia and Oliver. I'm so in love with this colorway. Me too. It is so pretty. And these colors look so good together. I adore them. That's the one I'm casting on right now. Amber said, thank you everyone for your help. I will try my gauge at those stitch counts. You got it, Amber. I like a pattern called Under the Boardwalk on Ravelry. Has short rows before the heel flap. Nice. Somebody said, I'm making Summer Lee Design Co.'s Mermaid Avenue socks. Summer Lee has so many great sock patterns. That's this one that I'm making. This one's one of their plain ones. Much more plain, but there's so many fun ones. I was really tempted to do the one that's like dots or something. It's got little polka dots all over it, but I thought color work this week, not happening. Too many socks to make. Sarah said, I've switched over to 9-inch circulars lately because I think it goes faster, but I really miss being able to easily try on my socks when knitting magic loop. Yep. Yeah, it's good to try a different thing and just see how you like it. I know a lot of people love those 9-inch circulars. I have an 8-hour drive for vacation on the 16th, really wishing it was today instead of at the end. I know, right? You could just change your family vacation. I'm just kidding. Hey Raquel, I want my sock mojo back so I can participate, but I'm on a garment kick. You know what? It's okay. You're on a garment kick. That's fine. You should do what is fun for you. Don't feel forced to make a sock. You can still come and hang out at all of our Sock Week stuffs. All of our Sock Week things, even if you're not making socks. Hey Melissa, excited to work on my socks at a local brewery this afternoon. Oh, that sounds so fun. Let's see, Alex says, I've never knit in public, but I really want to try. The common opinion in my country is that this is a hobby for the after retirement ladies. Well, you're gonna change their minds. Knitting is cool, crochet is cool. I know it can be nerve-wracking to work on projects in public, but I will say all of the interactions I've ever had have been positive. I've only had like one person like say something about knitting in public, and it was a comment on Instagram. Like they said like I would be upset if somebody was knitting next to me in the movies or something like that. And I was like, why? You can't even see. You look over if somebody's making a little bit of movement, you look over, see what they're doing, and then you're fine. Like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. If you need some encouragement, I'm your knitting in public cheerleader. Okay. I think I saw a question that I wanted to answer. Hey, Alize. I bet New York weather is so much better. Yesterday in Texas, it was 107. Yeah, I saw. That is too hot. It's crazy. Like in Texas, you just don't even spend any time outside. You're inside in the air conditioning. In New York, like our air conditioning is like not that great. So, I mean, I have mine off right now and I have my little fan, which is like the best thing ever. But it's a little warm, a little toasty. But if I go outside, it's like toasty too. So it's like really pleasant. So I miss good air conditioning, but I don't miss the hot weather. Jasmine said, when I do 9-inch circular needles and I want to try on, I slide a second DPN on half the stitches so I can slide it on, usually on the heel side because the top of the foot is rounded. That's a great tip, Jasmine. That way you don't have to slide all of your stitches off, and you could probably just knit onto that DPN, try it on, and then knit off of it and not lose any knitting time sliding stitches. That's a great idea. Oh yeah, Bethany's in Texas too. So hot in Texas. I mean, it's hot and it's humid, I think, right now there, which is rare for like Dallas, which is not great. But I know Houston is worse right now because they're so humid there in Houston. Abby said, I was at the ER once working on some socks. One of the nurses stopped to ask me about my socks. I was in too much pain to appreciate it in the moment. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I hope that is resolved now, but that's actually kind of cool that you were knitting on the socks even during a traumatizing moment. Sometimes knitting can bring a little distraction. I always have a project with me and take it out when I have the time. Always supportive and positive projects. Yeah. Oh, here's the question that I saw earlier. Is there going to be a way to submit photos? There's another word in there that I don't really understand. So when you fill out your form, which is linked and it's a Google form down below, you need some proof that you have made the sock. So it can be one or the other, a Ravelry project page link or a photo, which you can just take on your phone and upload when you submit the form. You don't have to do both. You can do one or either. And when I pull the winners, what I do is I take the submissions and I put them into a big spreadsheet, and then we go through and look at all of the bonuses and like give you an extra line for all the bonuses that you have. So the more bonuses you have, the more entries that you have. And then once I get everyone expanded out, I do random number generators, and that tells me like which line to go to. And so once I pick a person, I just do a double check to make sure they did actually make a sock, whether it's a photo or a Ravelry link. That's how we check. Let's see. Where did Camilla said, not knitting socks. I have 18 whips. None of them are socks. I promised my husband not to cast on anything else until I finish some of them. Why? What does it matter? I don't understand. Unless you want to finish some of them, then that's different. I mean, why though? Why do you have to finish them? Do you need the clothes? It's supposed to be fun. I find it fun to finish things, which is why I love finishing things, but not everyone feels that way. Some people just like to make, new projects and cast new things on. And if you're feeling guilty about it, rip something out. Then it's done. Those are my hot tips for the day. Let's see, Hannah said, for those who have not used them, pearl strings are amazing for trying things on. They're silicone tubes that slide onto your needles and hold your stitches. Hannah, I agree with you, except those don't work for small needles. I've tried. unless I'm doing something wrong or don't have the right ones, they are too thick for like size 1 needles. And it's really hard to get the stitches on and off of them. But I do like those for like garment stuff. Hello from Denmark. We have about 20 degrees Celsius today and lots of wind. I find it perfectly hot, but nothing compared to American temperatures. Yes, for sure. I'm from Alberta, and Quebec's weather is humid for me when it's hot. Yes. Oh man, humidity is the worst. I don't think we have a lot of humidity here. Sometimes it's like 50%, but I grew up in Tennessee, so that's like nothing. Like it's 39% right now. Not so bad. I wish it was less, but it's not so bad. Melody said, I'm using a crossbody purse for my project bag. It's great working knitting wherever. That's great. So you just have it across you can have your yarn in there, you can work and knit. I recently sat at the county fair and knitted. I love that. I have heard from a few people that it would be really fun to for these yarn cozy patterns to extend the I-cord to like a wristlet, so that you could have it like hanging off of you. I don't really like that. Bothers me to have something hanging on my arm, but I thought if we made it a little longer, you could like hook it around you and just have like a little yarn purse right here. You know how people are wearing those, like, actually I just bought one too. You know how people are wearing like these and they like put them like right here on their chest for whatever reason? I don't know, I have one now too, so I can't say anything. You could do that. Have it like hanging like down right here, just so it's like right by your side. Knit. I wouldn't be opposed to it. Something to explore after sock week. Sophie said, getting a couple stitches off my cuff while getting some very lovely baby cuddles. Aw, your voice has lulled him off to sleep. How sweet. I love that. Yes, Sully will be dreaming of little knit socks. That is so cute. Lori said, a bit cooler here in Indy, but the 90s have been a norm lately. Whew, hot. Alex said, I am promising to take a year off for finishing whips, but first have to have enough to start. Don't do anything that extreme. I find that I meet my goals much better when they're a little bit looser. Like, that's why for me, like casting on, not being able to cast on anything new until finishing like multiple things, that's a lot. But doing like 30 minutes a day on something you haven't been working on or been motivated to work on, and then allowing yourself to work on the fun new projects, that seems to be really working for me right now, so maybe try that. Hot in Tucson, Arizona, I bet. You live between two rivers, Janet? Yeah, that sounds really, really humid. Whew, that sounds rough. All right, everyone, what is your goal for today? What are you trying to reach on your sock today? I shared mine. I'm trying to do cuffs on each sock. So that's going to be 19 rows of 1x1 rib on this one, 20 rows of 2x2 rib on this one, and 32 rows plus, oh my gosh, hold on, emergency. I just got my yarn caught in my fan. Luckily, it was just the end. Okay, we're all good. Let me hold that way up here. 32 rows plus the folded row. I'm doing a folded hem, and I am knitting it. So I like did the long tail cast on, and then you fold it up and you knit it together. So those are my goals for today, is to do those 3 cuffs. I am not 100% sure I'll get completely there, but I'm not stressing it because it is still day 1 and we've got plenty of time in sock week, and I'm not opposed to, if I get about halfway through sock week and I'm finding it just too much to keep up on 3 socks, I might set 1 sock aside and say, you know what, it's okay, I can work on this one later and just push through with 2 socks because I know that's a doable goal for me. So I'm not worried about it one bit. Okay, let's see, what are your goals for today? Let's see. Wendy's trying toe-up socks for the first time today. Yay, Wendy, that's exciting. And learning magic loop. Maggie, that's awesome. Abby's goal, 2 inches of the foot. Karina, want to reach the start of the heel tonight. Almost there. Great. That's awesome. Jill said the toes for 2 socks in tandem. Awesome. Abby said already did the toe. That was my guess. If you'd started on the foot, you already did the toe. Cuffs and start the legs. Nice. Going to try to finish the cuff on both socks. Julia said, finish it. I'm doing journey socks and I plan to knit all day, so it's doable. Yes, because those are short socks, but still a lot of knitting, so good job. Wendy said, I hope to get heels done by the end of the day today, or get to the heels by the end of the day. Itiana said, half the leg of sock 1. Nice. Erin said, I just finished the cuffs on 2 socks. Oh, good job, Erin. So I'm thinking mid-leg on both by the end of the day. Wow. Jessica said, I'd like to get halfway or more through the foot today. Awesome. Nick, my goal is to get 1 heel completed today and the other ready to start the heel flap. Nice. Michelle, a cuff, shorty leg, and a fish lips kiss heel. Zoya, finished the heel today. Lunar Bunny, hoping to finish the cuff today. Mariette, oh, you're saying hi. I love that. I'm trying to cast off a sock, just the toe to go, so I can cast on a sock week sock tonight or tomorrow. Great. You're going to have plenty of time. Melissa, the leg on 1 sock and the cuff of a 2nd sock. Nice. Uh-oh, I just jumped, so I'm so sorry. I think that skipped a couple people, but let's see. Katie said at least 30 more minutes knitting at the gym. Oh my gosh, wait, what are you doing at the gym that you're knitting? Are you walking on the treadmill? Might come back later today for another 30-minute session. Oh my gosh, that's so smart. See, that's what I'm gonna do too. I'm gonna start taking some sock walks and work on these socks and get some exercise. I think that's such a great idea. Okay, sorry, back to this. Megan said, my goal is to knit the cuff on the knit sock and the toe on my crochet sock. Oh, I love that you're doing both. That's so fun. Janet says, complete the cuff and leg of both socks. Woo, that's a lot of knitting. Kendra said, my goal is to finish sock 1 of my perfect fit sock class. Awesome. Hey, Wendy. Jennifer said, finish the heel on the first sock. Kim said, you need to do a tutorial on the folded cuff. I want to try it. I just don't understand how. So actually I have a tutorial already. It's not a cuff though. It's the brim of a hat, but it's exactly the same. Let me see if I can find that really quickly, because I did share that with somebody yesterday who had the same question, was like, how do you do that? So 1 second. It wasn't super long ago, so I think, yes, I can find it pretty fast. Okay, so this video is called the folded brim without a provisional cast on, but it's exactly how I've done this heel. So even though it's the brim of a hat, fold up, sock, cuff. There we go. Okay, got it. I love it when somebody asks me, says I need to do a tutorial, and I'm like, I did it already. Yay. I love making tutorials, but they are very time consuming, so it's hard when somebody asks for a new tutorial. I'm like, I can't do that right now, but when I have one already, I feel really good, because that means hopefully it will be helpful. Okay, Frida said finish the cuff in 20 rounds of the leg for both socks. Nice. Nick said, my yarn I cast on today is Sharks in the Water. I have never wanted a yarn to pool more. I'm excited to see how they knit up. Oh, nice. Jasmine said, finish the sock I have on the needles and start the sock that counts for sock week and spin for Tour de Fleece. Oh, that sounds so fun. And I know others have said they have like goals within the week that are not sock goals, because we don't not everyone can just set aside, if you have other projects that you're working on or want to work on. So I kind of have that too, because I don't have it in here, but I want to finish my Twisted Tea shorts. I only have like 8 rows to go, and so I know I can finish them, but I don't want to get super behind on my socks, so I'm going to sprinkle that in here and there throughout the week, I think. Okay, let's see. Maddie said 3 cuffs and the leg and heel on 1 sock today. Nice. Tasha said, I'm also starting my first pair of toe up socks. Very good. Lori said, trying to get to the heel to have mindless knitting for the work week. That's a great idea. Lenny said, goal for today is to finish one toe, already done, and one foot, almost there. Everything else is a bonus. Absolutely. Oh, I see a question. How do I join Sock Week? Well, you just start a sock. That's it. So you, as long as you start the sock today or after and finish it by next Sunday, July 17th, you have participated in Sock Week. Some other ways to participate like throughout the week is just to use the hashtag Sock Week 2022 on Instagram. You can tag me so that I can see your socks. I'm gonna try to post at least like 5 or so people per day, but I do look at all of them because I love seeing everyone's progress. And before when you're finished with your sock, before Monday, next Monday at 10 a.m., make sure to submit your finished sock for prizes. And we'll do one more YouTube live here on the Knitty Natty channel next Sunday, the 17th at 5 p.m. So while that won't be the actual end of Sock Week, you'll still have until midnight to finish any socks. I think that will be a good time for a lot of people being like almost there. If you're just like pushing through one last bit of your sock, I think that will be a good time. So 5 p.m. Eastern time, that's next week. Okay. I love that. You have games with the kid today. Can't wait to cast on when you get home. Wait, can't you work on your socks while you're watching? Maybe once they're cast on. I know it's hard to cast on and do other things. I keep doing this. I did this last night with our membership cast on party too. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stop and get ready before. Yeah, no, I didn't do that, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Michelle said my goal for today was the cuff and half the leg, but I'm already almost there. So I think I'd like to get to the heel. That's super great. Oh, I forgot to mention that the schedules, I've got some suggested schedules just to like kind of, if you are newer to sock knitting or have never tried to make a sock in a week before, just to kind of break that down. I'll post those on my Instagram story again. But one thing you can do is like for today, if you're doing cuff down socks, try to do the cuff today. And if you're doing toe up socks, try to do the toe today. The schedules that I have basically break down the sock so that it's doable in the week. So it'd be cuff for day 1, 2 days for the leg, 1 day for the heel, 2 days for the foot, 1 day for the toe, and then you have a buffer day. So I would definitely suggest doing a buffer day, whether it's in the middle of the week or at the end of the week. That way, if you have a day where you're like, I just could not get that done, you don't have to stress. You know you have a little extra time to get some things done. The Neon Knitter, did you see my comment? I must not have seen it. Will you post it again? Sometimes things just get like, when I'm behind, it like jumps ahead and then I can't stay current. And I found that if I try to stay chronological at the end of the YouTube lives, which we're gonna wrap up here in a second, I have like 100 comments that I haven't seen. So I'm trying to stay within the live this time. Michelle said, finish the leg and start the heels today. Karina said, I love the schedule. Great way to keep on track and get it done. Yeah, it's been really helpful. And I think when you have a breakdown like that, it is like, you're like, okay, I can do this, you know, if I want to, I can do it. If anyone has any other questions I can answer before we wrap up here, let me know. I'm taking a look at the chat right now. Maria said, I like the schedules you posted. I took a screenshot and make each daily goal and then everything else is a bonus. I totally do that too. Like if I finish all the cuffs, I'm probably gonna work on my twisted T shorts tonight because that's kind of like an additional goal that I have. But once those are done, I'll just keep going on one of the socks and kind of make my way ahead a little bit. That definitely helps. Let's see. A perfect toe up pattern for, what is HFG? People is with the little, the perfect toe up pattern for the heel flap and gusset people is with the little wolf knits. Oh, nice. Thanks, Raquel. I actually had somebody ask me that question, like heel flap and gusset for toe up, and I did not know because I don't really do toe up very often and I don't do heel flap and gusset. So I was like, I don't know. But yes, that's great. Kristen asked, what's the weirdest thing you've done while learning new techniques? I did a provisional cast on and I made a top down toe for a toe up sock before I learned how to make a toe up cast on. That's actually kind of smart, actually. That's pretty cool. So you must have provisionally cast on, made from like the start of the toe up, and then you knit the toe down? That's what I'm guessing. That's pretty cool. I don't know what the weirdest thing I've done while learning new techniques. You know what, actually? Yes, I can think of the weirdest thing I've done. When I was learning to knit in the round, this was like, I think I was in middle school. I got yarn from Target in the dollar section. They had this awful yarn. Actually, it was really cool yarn, but it was really hard to work with. That's why I say awful. And it was like this string with like these little square, it was a novelty yarn. It had like these little squares hanging off it. It was so hard to knit with. And I wanted to learn how to knit in the round in a small circumference, but I didn't have double pointed needles. So I went into the kitchen and I opened up our silverware drawer and I got wooden skewers. And I think they were like this long. And I knit in the round with wooden skewers, which are pretty much like double pointed needles, just a little long and a little sharper. And that's how I learned to knit in the round. I did it completely inside out, which didn't really matter that much, but I think I kept getting confused. Anyway, now I knit on magic loop. I did knit with DPNs for a while, like real DPNs, but yeah, I think that's the weirdest thing I've done. And that was just out of necessity. You want to learn to do it, you use what you have. Oh, that's a good question. It's super funny. Okay. Oh, you love the schedules to cross things out. That's so great. Will there be a second sock week? This year we're not doing a second sock week. So second sock week was something we did last year where it was just kind of a more casual make along. Basically a few weeks after sock week ended, we had sort of a second sock week to finish second socks, but we're not doing that this year, mostly because I'm gonna be taking a break. I'm gonna be going out of town for the 2 weeks in July that are after sock week. And also just because we did a lot of stuff for sock week pre-sock week this year, so I feel like we got a good long make along in. But if you're like, wait, I missed second sock week, then let me know. Maybe next year we'll do it again, because it is fun to have a little bit more time in our make along. Okay, let's see. Since these are my first sock weight socks, I'm sticking with shorties. That's a good idea, Belinda. That's totally fine. Alize said, I'm trying to get to working on the heel, and if not, finish off the leg and leave the heel for tomorrow. Great idea. Melody said, asked, do you have a video for the toe that you do? I have a video for a square toe, yes. I don't have a video for the toe I do now, which is the elongated ergonomic toe. That is actually in my Perfect Fit sock course. So right now it's exclusive to the course, but for just a basic toe, still a really good toe, I've got both the cuff down toe and a toe up toe on my YouTube channel now. If you just search like Knitty Natty socks or like Knitty Natty toe up, Knitty Natty cuff down, I've got a whole series that walks you through an entire sock that is all available like for free right now on my YouTube channel. So definitely check that out. I did the square toe for years before I switched about 8 months ago to an ergonomic toe. So it's a really good toe. Oh my gosh, my thigh-high sock has a 300 round leg. Therefore, I need to get the entire foot done today so I can break up the leg during the rest of the week, and I work from 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. So just by the way that you're already breaking that down, I can tell that you're gonna finish because you've really got it broken down. Don't forget to factor in if you're increasing your stitches, which you probably are for the thigh. Give yourself a little more time for those later rows up the leg. But that sounds like a good plan. Just take those rows and divide them up, and you got this. It's awesome. Christina asked, where is Toaster? Let me see. There he is. He's sleeping. So this is where I sleep. Wait, sorry, this is backwards for me, so it's hard for me. This is where I sleep. That's where Kent normally sleeps, unless Toaster falls asleep first, which he did last night. We've already been out this morning. Now he's just having a nap. But he gets up there, puts his head on the pillow, and then I tuck him in, and he closes his eyes. He's the easiest baby. Oh my gosh. Beth, I love this question. Does anyone know approximately how much yarn for the contrasting parts? Beth, we're going to figure this out right now because I have always been wondering that. Okay, so I have this sock right here. I have the 20-gram mini from the Little Wolf Knits. I know that I used 2 grams for this. I need to add this to my Ravelry project page, but 2 grams for this. And then I think I used like 4 grams for my Fish Lips Kiss heel, short row heel. And then I haven't weighed yet since I've done the toe. So we're gonna weigh it right now. Let me get my scale. Got it? Okay. I need to know this because if you watched, I did a video on like tips for sock knitting, and I talked about doing this, but I actually haven't done it myself. It's so easy. You just weigh your yarn after each time you make, a part of the sock, and then like write it down somewhere. I just don't ever do it. I don't know why. Okay, it looks like I have 11 grams left, which means that if I had 20 and this took 2, I was down to 18. And then this took 4, so I was down to 14. That means that the toe took like 3-ish grams. So I would say that you will need probably 10 grams for toes, heels, and cuffs, just depending again on your stitch count and your gauge and like what types of heels and cuffs you're doing. But I know one of our members the other day was making a sock with a 10-gram mini, and they were able to do like heels for both socks in them. So if you're worried, maybe choose like just heels and toes or just heels and cuffs instead of doing heels, toes, and cuffs with your mini. Hope that helps. Weighing it is gonna be the best way. Megan said I learned to knit on chopsticks. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's great. Okay, I'm trying to look through just to see if there's any more questions. Carry out chopsticks with a perfect size 8. Oh, that's great. I love that. Okay, that was the last question I answered. Just taking a look through. Lots of people wanting to make the twisted T-shorts. Yay! They're so much fun. Amy said, do you ever give private lessons online? I do. I haven't done any in the last couple months, but I do have them open on knittynatty.com. There's a spot at the top that says lessons. I'm not going to be doing any more for July, but I will start doing them again in August. I just offer them 1 day a week on Wednesdays, so you can check that out there. Natalie asked, does it have to be a specific sock pattern? Nope, as long as it's adult size and fingering weight, that's totally fine. Let's see. Just did the toe up start this morning from my playlist. Oh, great. Melody asked, how can I do the Perfect Fit class? So I am planning to reopen the Perfect Fit class sometime after Sock Week. So just be on the lookout for that there. I'll probably have it open for just a short amount of time. Let's see. Rachel said, I hadn't planned on joining Sock Week this year. Few bits going on this week, but I might have to cast on a quick shorty and join in after all. That sounds like a great idea. Like, just do something small, something quick, and no pressure. Like, again, the only reason we have any rules around this is for prizes. If you're just like, I don't even care about the prizes, then you know what? Do whatever you want. Work on a sock that is a whip, cast on a sock and don't finish it. Just come and participate with us. That is more than fine. We're only gonna be a stickler for the rules when we choose prizes in fairness to everybody. He's smart to be sleeping. Oh, he just turned around. I know, he's just so cute. I think I might take him to a dog park later that has a lot of trees and work on my socks at the dog park. Okay. Julie said, it's 10 grams per sock for me if you do contrasting cuff, heel, and toes. Yeah, and that's looking like pretty close to what I'm getting here. I know I didn't truly do a cuff on this one, but I feel like it's similar. And I use a little bit more yarn, I would say, in my heel than the average Fish Lips Kiss because I do increase before I do my... do I have a sock size chart? I do not, but I know if you Google, there's lots online. I like to use measurements, specific measurements on the foot instead of a size chart. Mariette says, I have to go. Thank you, Natalie. Always enjoy this make along. Oh, thank you. Bye, Mariette. Okay. Melissa said, are prices international? Ooh, can you tell me what you're asking about? I'm sorry. I lost that train of thought there and I don't remember what we were talking about. So tell me what you were asking about for that. Oh, prizes maybe. Maybe not prices, prizes. If it's prizes, some of our prizes are international. So if you finish a sock, just submit your sock because we do have prizes international. So all of the prizes will be chosen at random, but the prize assignment, I make sure to go through and go, okay, if this person is out of the US, I make sure to match you with a prize that is available internationally. I hope that makes sense. So there is a spot in the form where I ask for your country, and that's why, because not all of our prizes are going outside the US, only some of them are. Okay. Lisa said, I only have a size 0 needle available right now. Do you think my gauge will be way off to use that? Not necessarily, unless you're a super tight knitter. For socks, kind of aim for anything between like 7 to 9 stitches per inch. So you'll probably be closer to that 9 range with a size 0, but that's totally fine. Wendy said, cuff done, now off to start the pattern for Rhinebeck Roomies. Okay, Melissa, you meant prizes. Got it. So hopefully that answered your question. So yes, some of our prizes are available internationally, but it's all one form to fill out. So just fill out that form, and if you get picked and you are international, we do have prizes that can go international. Okay. I'm so glad I found your channel. The fact that you do lessons and live streams makes it even better. Oh, thank you. Okay, this is the last question I'm going to answer here, and we're going to wrap up. Do sock blockers really make a difference, and which are the best? So I think sock blockers can be a really big help, but they are not a necessity. I really like having my, I don't know if there's any like sock blockers that are the best, but I like anything that's like cute. That doesn't necessarily make them the best. I have used these wooden sock blockers for a long time that I think are really amazing. And then Fangirl Fibers, one of our sponsors, does acrylic sock blockers. And I put one of my socks on there the other day. I haven't done a wet sock to like actually block it yet, but I'm planning to block my Sock Week socks on those. They're really cute. So I don't know. I don't think you can really go wrong with the sock blockers. Just make sure you have the correct size and you're not overstretching your socks at all. Okay, I don't have the prizes listed yet, but I might get those up soon. But there's going to be a prize from each of our, 2 prizes from each of our sponsors that kind of correlate to what they sell. So if they're a yarn dyer, they'll be giving away yarn. If they're a stitch marker maker, they'll be giving away stitch markers. But all of the whole pool comes from one form. So as long as you fill out that form there, you're eligible for all of the prizes. All right, everyone, I hope to see you on Instagram, and we will be doing a YouTube Live next week, the last day of Sock Week, on Sunday, July 17th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So come and join us then. You have until midnight next Sunday, July 17th, either your time or Eastern Time. Whichever is fine. The form's going to be open until Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So you've got plenty of time to get that in. Thank you all for participating in Sock Week. It's such a fun time every single year. I'm so excited for these next 8 days. We'll count today as a day. I'm so excited for these next 8 days. It's going to be a blast. And thank you everyone for joining me today. It was so much fun. Thank you, Bethany, for helping out today. You did an amazing job. I saw you answering all those questions. I really, really appreciate it. Awesome. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great